We're going to get going with show 2. All right, before we get to Armis Brooks, an omission was made that is completely my fault. In the credits for the Whistler, I forgot to mention that Good Time Charlie, who had to hear Al's story, was played by Mark Fazio.
Oh, yeah!
Armis Brooks was a comedy program that ran on CBS Radio for 8 years. It also made the transition to television and did a lot of really nice things with the holiday season. Its most known Christmas program is the, why can't I think of it? Yes, the Christmas tree. The Magical Christmas Tree from 1949. We're not doing that tonight, but we're doing another one that I think is equally as funny. And it's also a lesson in why you should not regift. So pay attention to that as you listen to the Christmas gift mix-up from Armis Brooks.
And now, Our Miss Brooks, starring Eve Arden. Well, with the Christmas holidays so close at hand, Our Miss Brooks, who teaches English at Madison High School, is faced with a few problems common to many of us. First, she still has all her Christmas shopping to do. And second, she has very little time to do it in.
And third, she has no money to do it with. Least I have very little money, $20 to be exact. And considering the people I usually give presents to, I knew that wouldn't go very far. After thinking it over for a while, though, I arrived at the only possible solution to my dilemma, which I conveyed to my landlady at breakfast last Wednesday morning.
Then you're going to spend the entire $20 on a gift for Mr. Boynton, Connie?
Yes, it's the only thing I can do, Mrs. Davis. I think I should be able to get him a nice gift for $20. It's better than giving a number of my friends a lot of trash, don't you agree?
I suppose so, dear. I know I certainly didn't expect anything from you.
Well, I'm glad.
After all, what difference does it make that I cook your meals all year round, and that I make up your room every day, and that I never badger you for the rent when you get 6 weeks behind, or that I'm constantly helping you with your problems as if you were my own daughter? I do it out of the goodness of my heart, and I certainly don't expect anything in return.
If I crawled under the rug, I wouldn't even make a bump. But, Mrs. Davis, we agreed we wouldn't exchange presents this year.
Oh, of course we did, Connie. So you stick to our agreement. After all, what difference does it make if I happen to forget and order you a beautiful gift?
You ordered me a gift?
Oh, dear, it slipped out.
Well, slip it back in. Perhaps it wasn't as much of a sacrifice for you as it was...
What difference does it make that I far exceeded my budget to get it for you? So I'll just eat a little less for the next 6 months. Just because the spirit of the season has swept me away doesn't mean it has to sweep you too.
Sweep me? It might easily clean me out. Well, I suppose I actually should give you a gift too, since we're so close.
Now, dear, you'll do no such thing. Don't give it another thought.
Well, all right.
I can count on perfectly well squeezing oranges by hand for another year. Just because I can hardly straighten out my poor fingers when I'm through is no concern of yours.
Then you'll want a finger straightener. An orange juice squeezer.
Why, Connie, how did you know?
It was just a wild guess.
But the $10 they want at Sherry's is much more than I'll let you spend.
Well, then I won't.
So if you'll just give me $7 cash, I'll get the squeezer at McGinty Sales Company. I happen to have an exclusive introductory credit card there. It's the only thing that will let you in, and it entitles you to a third off on everything.
As I say, I should be able to get Mr. Boynton a nice gift for $13. I'll give you the money as soon as I get my bag.
Thanks, dear. Now I'll tell you what I got for you. It's something I felt was very personal.
Something personal? What is it?
A chess set.
A chess set?
Yes, dear. I know how Mr. Boynton loves the game, and it will give you two something to do together on those long winter evenings. That is, if you know how the game goes.
Oh, certainly. Right out the window. It was very thoughtful of you, Mrs. Davis. Oh, that must be Walter now to drive me to school. Be right out, Walter. I better be going, Mrs. Davis.
All right, dear. Well, I intend to do the rest of my shopping this morning. So I'll drop your present off at school. Maybe you and Mr. Boynton can use it in the cafeteria at lunch.
We might at that. Those chessmen ought to taste a lot more tender than the rest of the food. Walter, is it my imagination or are you driving more carefully today?
Well, I was hoping you'd notice, dear teacher. Yes, I'm driving particularly carefully today. You see, as part of her Christmas present, my mother gave me new bumpers for the car.
What happened? Pedestrians finally wear out your old ones? Well, that was a thoughtful gift, but isn't it a little early to be receiving Christmas presents?
Oh, no, ma'am. No, indeed. I must have received 3/4 of my gifts already, particularly from my close friends at school. Oh, yeah. They've already given me their gift. 3/4 of them. Maybe even 7/8. Matter of fact, I can only think of 1 or 2 who haven't.
Matter of fact, I think I'll get out and walk.
There's nothing like the spirit of giving at Christmas, is there? You know, of course, a kid like me who operates on a limited budget can only exchange gifts with his nearest relatives and his closest and most intimate friends. Isn't that so, Miss Brooks?
It certainly is, stranger. In essence, I agree with you, Walter, but the truth of the matter is I only have $13 for my Christmas shopping. That leaves me with just enough money for a gift from Mr. Boynton. Now do you understand?
I guess I do. Oh, well, I certainly didn't expect anything from you, Miss Brooks.
Oh, I'm glad.
After all, what difference does it make that I pick you up and drive you to school every day, all year round? Or that I spend half of my time at school running errands for you? You do whatever you want to, Miss Brooks, but no one else is going to receive the beautiful present that I selected for you.
You bought me a present already?
Oh, please forget about it, will you?
All right, then.
After all, I'm getting enough gifts without that $7 briefcase at Sherry's that I've wanted more than anything else in the world.
Walter, I'd like to buy the briefcase for you, but $7 is rather high.
Oh, much too high, Miss Brooks. I wouldn't let you spend that much money for anything.
Good.
So if you give me $5 in cash, I'll get the same thing at McGinty's.
As I say, $8 ought to buy a fine gift for Mr. Boynton.
Well, I have an exclusive introductory credit card at McGinty's. Everything at 1/3 off. Oh, it's the only card that'll let you in.
At the moment, that isn't what worries me.
No? Well, then what does, Miss Brooks?
Does McGinty print a card that will let me out? Walter, there's no reason to sneak past Mr. Conklin's office, even if we are 5 minutes late.
Oh, but Miss Brooks, you know how Mr. Conklin feels about such things. What would you say if he suddenly stepped out of his office?
Good morning, Miss Brooks.
Oh, does that answer your question, Walter? Mr. Conklin, I realize we're a little late.
Tut,
But
tut,
only-
tut. My dear,
No.
don't give it a second thought. I'm delighted to give my students and faculty a little latitude this time of year. It's the Christmas season, and I'm filled with the spirit of peace on earth and goodwill to all men.
Well, it's nice of you to extend it to females and young boys.
Not at all, Miss Brooks. Now, will you come into my office? Please. I have something to ask you.
But sir, I'm 5 minutes late
you'll
now.
be 5 minutes later into my office.
Yes, sir. See you later, Walter.
Yeah, bye, Miss Brooks.
Now, sit down, my dear. Sit right down, and I'll get directly to the point. I want some advice from you, Miss Brooks.
Some advice?
Yes, about a gift. I'm doing my Christmas shopping this afternoon. I want you to be sure to tell me what you want before I leave.
But sir, I didn't think you approved of faculty members exchanging gifts.
Oh, I don't, Miss Brooks. It's just that I happen to be imbued with the spirit of giving, the spirit of Christmas. And if I chose to remember my teachers, I certainly don't expect any loot, gifts in return. Of course, if my teachers insist on showing their appreciation for the many little favors I've done for them in the past, why, I'm powerless to stop them.
I'm hooked. I was wondering what I could get you for Christmas, sir. Could you give me a suggestion? Something that particularly needed or wanted for about 50 cents?
My dear, I want you to forget even the mention of the word gifts this morning. Dismiss it from your mind. Besides, I smoke too much anyway.
Smoke?
Yes, and $10 is too much for anyone to pay for the alligator tobacco pouch I've always wanted.
Well, sir, I'd certainly like to get it for you, but that is rather expensive.
$10 is far, far too expensive. I wouldn't dream of letting you spend that much money.
Well, I'm glad, because I wasn't...
If you have the money with you, I know just where I can get it for $7.
Murdered by McGinty's.
Here we are, Miss Brooks. My dessert and coffee, and I brought you a piece of pineapple pie a la mode.
Why, Mr. Boynton, what a thoughtful Christmas present.
Christmas present?
Why, it's exactly what I've always wanted. You shouldn't have gone to all that extra expense.
What extra expense?
The pineapple pie would have been enough. You should have kept the a la mode for my birthday. Pineapple pie a la mode, as I always say, Mr. Boynton. Let the other women get their mink coats and pearl necklaces. Just give me a gift that touches you right in the stomach, heart.
Oh, I get it now. You're joking.
I was afraid you'd see it that way. But, Mr. Boynton, this actually would be enough. After all, it's the spirit of giving that counts, rather than the gift itself.
Well, not entirely, Miss Brooks. Well, true, the spirit must be there, but the gift is important too. I've ordered you a beautiful gift. I know how you are about giving gifts of equal value, and I wouldn't want to disappoint you.
You've picked a fine time to start. It's very thoughtful of you, Mr. Boynton, very thoughtful, particularly since I joined the Christmas Club a year ago and put away $1 a week for a gift just for you.
$52 for my present?
$52.75. They pay interest. But just because we've given each other gifts of equal value in the past, I don't want that to influence you this Christmas.
$52?
Uh-huh. And that, combined with the $30 I borrowed from Mrs. Davis, ought to buy you a very nice gift.
Oh, Miss Brooks, I've been thinking.
I hope you've been thinking what I think you've been thinking. Yes, Mr. Boynton?
After all, if it's really the spirit of giving that counts rather than the gift itself.
You've convinced me. Here, this package is for you, and Merry Christmas.
For me? You got this for me? Must I wait until Christmas? Or may I open it now? What's inside, Miss Brooks?
Yes, yes, no, yes, chess.
A chess set. What a wonderful present.
Well, I was going to get you a few more gifts, but since you convinced me.
Oh, hi, Miss Brooks. Hi, Mr. Boynton.
Well, hello, Harriet.
Mr. Boynton, Daddy wants to. I'm sorry. I step on your lines all the time, don't I?
Well, Mr. Boynton, Daddy wants to see you in his office right away. Something about signing a requisition for some test tubes you wanted.
You want to take this one?
Sure. Oh, thank you, Harriet.
Oh, and Miss Brooks, your landlady called, and she wants you to call back when you can. Now, let's see, is there someone I've forgotten?
Better look under the table to make sure. Did Mrs. Davis say what she wanted me to call her about?
No, but she said she'd keep the receiver off the hook, so her line would be open when you called.
There's something wrong with that. But offhand, I don't know just what.
Well, I'd better get up to Mr. Conklin's office and get that requisition signed. Oh, thanks again for the gift, Miss Brooks. It really was quite unexpected.
Yes, for both of us. I mean, both of us may use it.
Oh, of course. We'll see you later, Miss Brooks.
Oh, I'll walk to the phone with you, Miss Brooks.
All right, Harriet. Well, how has Santa been treating you so far, dear?
Oh, not too badly. Walter gave me a slave bracelet, but I don't think I'll wear it.
Why not?
Well, you should see what he had engraved on it. Finder, please return this girl to Walter Denton.
Why, I think that's cute, Harriet. If a certain party gave me one of those bracelets, I think I might enjoy getting lost. Now, excuse me, dear, while I make this call.
Okay. Bye, Miss Brooks.
Hello?
Hello, Mrs. Davis. It's Connie.
Oh, Connie. Well, how did you like the gift I gave you?
Oh, it's lovely, Mrs. Davis. Simply lovely.
I knew you'd be enthusiastic over that black silk negligee.
Well, certainly. It's something that Mr. Boynton and I can... Black silk negligee? Oh, no!
I intimated it was a chess set, Connie, just to throw you off the track.
And you did. Right into the path of a screaming locomotive.
Was the negligee the wrong size, dear?
Well, I'm not sure, but I think Mr. Boynton takes a 38.
Speak louder, Connie. It sounded almost like you said Mr. Boynton.
I've got to hang up now, Mrs. Davis. I just gave somebody a gift, and I've got to get it back before he opens it.
Why? Do you think he won't like it, Connie?
Oh, not exactly, Mrs. Davis. It's something that all men like, but on somebody else.
Come in. Come in, Boynton. Come in. Sit right down, my boy.
Well, thank you, Mr. Conklin. I came in to sign that requisition for those test tubes. I know it needs both of our signatures.
Yes. Here, use this fountain pen, Boynton. A Christmas gift from Miss Enright, a fabulously generous person. Not that I expect gifts from my faculty members, mind you. Why, last year there were 3 teachers who gave me nothing for Christmas, and one of them is still with us.
Yes, sir.
Merry Christmas, Boynton.
Oh, and a Merry Christmas to you, sir.
Is that all, Boynton?
No, sir. And a Happy New Year.
I had a feeling you'd say that. Mr. Boynton, if you'll pardon my curiosity, just what is that gaily wrapped parcel you're carrying under your arm?
Oh, it's nothing, sir. Just a little present that I...
Oh, thank you so much.
Oh, but sir...
So you were teasing your old principal, eh, Boynton?
No, sir. It's only that...
Never mind what it is, Boynton. It's not what a gift is that counts, but the spirit in which it is given. What is it, Boynton?
It's a chess set, sir.
Splendid! Just what I need. I know just where I can exchange it for exactly what I wanted. Now go right ahead, Boynton. Sign that requisition and we'll put it in the works at once.
All right. And thank you, sir.
Forget it, Boynton. Just consider those test tubes as my Christmas present to you.
Mr. Boynton, Mr. Boynton. Oh, Mr. Boynton, I'm glad I finally found you. I missed you right after lunch.
Oh, goodness, Miss Brooks. You're breathless.
Please, this is no time for flattery. Oh, you mean I'm winded? You know I've been looking for you after every period since noon. I'm afraid I'll have to ask you to return that gift I gave you. There's been a slight mistake and I'll have to exchange it.
The gift you gave me? Well, you can't exchange it, Miss Brooks. I used it during my free period.
Wasn't it a little skimpy around the hips? I mean, you opened it already?
Well, I haven't exactly opened it, but I like chess. It's my favorite game.
Believe me, Mr. Boynton, in this thing you couldn't make a move. Look, I really must have it back. You see, I gave you the wrong present by mistake.
Oh, well, then I may as well tell you the truth. I gave it to Mr. Conklin as a Christmas present.
Oh,
no. Well, I hadn't intended to, but before I knew it, he seemed to take possession of it.
You gave him the gift I gave you? Mr. Boynton, I'm shocked. How could you bring yourself to give away a gift someone else had given you? If you knew the time and thought and effort I put into selecting a gift that would suit your personality.
Well, really, Miss Brooks, it all happened so quickly. I had no alternative but to...
Please, Mr. Boynton, no excuses. I still think you were quite negligent. Well, I've got to get it back at once, so here goes.
Well, good luck, Miss Brooks.
Come in. Why, Miss Brooks, come in, my dear. Well, have you decided what little gift you'd like from your principal this year?
Well, frankly, I'm undecided, sir, between a little diamond wristwatch and a little alligator handbag.
How about a little psychoanalyst? Remember, this is Osgood Conklin you're talking to, Miss Brooks, not Danny Warbooks.
Fortunately, Mr. Conklin, I managed to obtain one of those exclusive personal discount cards from the McGinty Sales Company. A little boy was handing them out in the street. And if you gave me the cash, I'm certain I could get a certain watch for well under $50.
$50? Miss Brooks, I am just as susceptible to the infectious generosity of the season as the next man. But I do not intend to allow that infection to kill off my entire life savings.
Well, Mr. Conklin, next to the watch and the handbag, the only thing I want is a chess set.
A chess set? Here, Miss Brooks, exactly what I got for you. Take it. It's yours. Merry Christmas.
My, what a delightful surprise.
I'm glad you like it, Miss Brooks. You just can't imagine the time and the thought I put into the selection of your gift. Truly, my dear, it was quite a struggle to get it.
Well, I'm glad he didn't give up without a fight. My, you certainly have a lovely collection of presents in here, Mr. Conklin.
There's still one teacher I haven't heard from yet, Mr. Perkins in the math department. Come in and bring it with you. Why, Mr. Stone.
Hello, Conklin and Miss Brooks. Season's greetings to you both.
And the same to you, sir.
Oh, here, Conklin, I brought over this gift for you.
Thank you, Mr. Stone.
Forget I'm the head of the school board today, Conklin. Get into the old Christmas spirit. Enjoy yourself. Relax. Smile. Have you given out all of your gifts yet, Osgood?
Gifts? Oh, yes. Miss Brooks just finished wrapping yours, Mr. Stone. Here.
Oh, but sir, that package is meant.
Yes, Miss Brooks. You were saying?
May you get many years of use out of your gift, Mr. Stone. And for longer life, rinse it out every night and hang it up in the bathroom.
Oh? Is it a shirt, Conklin?
Oh, no, sir.
Handkerchiefs?
No.
Socks?
No, but I'll give you a hint. Two people can use it at the same time.
If they're midgets.
Two can use it at the same time, eh? Oh, is it something that can be used outdoors on an athletic field?
Possibly, but it might be a little chilly for night games.
Mr. Stone, why don't you open it and see for yourself?
Oh, you don't have to ask me twice, Conklin. I'm just as curious as a little child at Christmas. Oh. Conklin, I don't understand.
Well, what could be nicer than a black silk negligee? It's the perfect gift for you, sir, and I know you'll get many years of pleasure and use. What could be nicer than a black silk negligee? Mr. Stone, believe me.
Conklin, I've heard of asinine practical jokes before, but pulling a trick like this on Christmas is an absolute insult.
Mr. Stone, I can explain. It was a simple, natural error. You see, when I got this from Mr. Boynton, Miss Brooks, why did Mr. Boynton give me a black silk negligee?
I can't understand it either, sir. Pale blue is much more your color. I just can't understand it at all.
Conklin, I'm still waiting for an explanation.
Come in.
Mrs. Davis wanted to see Miss Brooks on an urgent matter, sir.
That's right, Osgood. Oh, hello, Mr. Stone.
Hello, Miss Davis.
Oh, Connie, there's the negligee I gave you. I see you've opened it.
What? Miss Brooks, you mean you gave me a gift that someone else had given you for Christmas?
Well, you see, it happened that...
Boynton! You mean you gave me a gift someone else had given you?
Well, sir,
Conklin, you mean you gave me a gift that 3 other people had given you?
Well,
That nightgown has more mileage on it than a 1928 Ford.
I don't quite understand what's going on around here, but if your idea of a joke is to hand me a cheap nightgown...
Mr. Stone, that is not a cheap nightgown. It costs $22.50.
$22.50? Say, well, it is rather pretty at that. Conklin, perhaps I've been a little hasty. I think Mrs. Stone will be delighted with your thoughtful gift.
Well, I'm afraid I did give you the wrong gift, Mr. Stone. I had really intended that for Mrs. Conklin.
But Mr. Conklin, I was going to give it to my mother.
If you were, she's going to have to come down here and take it off my back. That gift was originally given to me by Mrs. Davis.
That's true, Connie, but I'm afraid I'll have to take it back, dear.
Take it back? But why, Mrs. Davis?
My sister Angela gave it to me as a gift. And she's coming over tonight to see it on me. So if you don't mind, I'll take it home. See you all again soon.
Well, there goes Mother's negligee.
Whose negligee, Boynton?
I might ask you the same question, Conklin.
Really, Mr. Stone?
Gentlemen, please. We shouldn't argue. Let's try to remember it always as our negligee.
Be with us next week at the same time for another comedy episode of Our Miss Brooks. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System. And for our cast tonight. Oh my God. I need a negligee to open this up, I think. The annoyed school board president, Mr. Stone, was Mark Fazio. The nasally Walter Denton was performed by our newlywed Jacob Palka. His sweet girlfriend, Harriet Conklin, was Donna Amesmeyer. Our bashful biology teacher, Mr. Boynton, was Jay Summerfield. Osgood Conklin, who might want to rethink exchanging gifts for Christmas at school, was Andre Dixon. Connie's sweet and absent-minded landlord, Mrs. Davis, was Corey Mizek. Connie Brooks, who learned her lesson about regifting, was perfected by Ellie Babka. And serving as your announcer for the evening, I am Kathy Juarez. Let me introduce Jacob Palka to tell us about what is in store for us for next month.
Also, give a round of applause to Marty McNulty, who does the sound. So Allison is the director next month, but she couldn't be here. I don't know why. What else could she possibly have going on but radio players? So she sent me this to read to you for next month. She says, we had a special request from one of our regular audience members for the 1956 suspense episode 3 Skeleton Key, or better known simply as that story about the rats. I don't know. Then to lighten things up, we will have 2 comedies. The first is an episode from My Little Margie entitled Little Moose, also known as Big Moose's Son Visits. And then we will finish off the evening with a fun short from the Stan Freberg show from 1957 called The Wrong Number, Sorry. So come join us here, same place, same time, Friday, January 26th. And hopefully that will all make a lot more sense to us when you see it. And now, John Gelsomino, our director.
Hey, just a few people to thank. Marty always does an amazing job with sound, and these shows are so based around sound and not just voice, and to put all of this together and to come up with the creative ideas like me recording my baby to cry. It was all on him, and he just does an amazing job. And he's going to have his hands full next month when he has to figure out the rat situation for 3 skeleton keys. So, Marty, thank you. Also, I want to thank a few people in the cast. This week, Allison and John Byan fell ill and obviously couldn't be here. So we had to do some shuffling, and we kind of had some hope that maybe they would be here, and obviously they weren't. But I really want to thank Jay Summerfield, Corey Mizek, and Andre Dixon for stepping in and doing an amazing job filling in for them tonight. I also have to thank Ellie Babka for all she does behind the scenes for this group, the scripts, the organization, the communication with the township, all the demands that we have. She comes through with all of that. So thank you, Ellie. You might have heard about that writer's strike in the first show commercial. If you're bored over the holiday season, I noticed this a few weeks ago. Andre Dixon, who runs our YouTube page, there's shows back to 2008 on that page. So if you're really bored and you want to find some entertaining television, take a look at some of that, because there's some really interesting finds as you go back. But he's archived all of our shows. Like we said in the commercial, if you can't be here, you can always get caught up by watching it, and that doesn't happen without Andre's help. So thank you, Andre. Finally, we wouldn't be here if we didn't have the support of Vera Wilt and the Riverside Township Board. We appreciate all they do to make this happen and give everybody up here this forum to perform and hopefully entertain. So we thank you, Riverside Township Board. And just once again, I want to thank the entire cast for their efforts in 2 wonderful shows. I told you there was a lesson in that second show that hopefully you'll take home with. Just a great job, and hopefully a wonderful way for you to start your holiday season. So, like Jacob said, we'll see you on Friday, January 26th, 2024. 27th? You sure? I think it's the 26th.
Sometime in January.
It's a Friday.
4th Friday in January. If it's the 6th or 7th, we'll see you then for 3 wonderful shows. So, Oh, yes. To see the videos, you can go to riversidetownshipradioplayers.com, or just go to YouTube and search Riverside Township Radio Players, and it'll pop right up. So we want to see those hits go up over the next month. So thank you again for being here. Have a wonderful holiday, and we'll see you in January.